Okay, we're talking about Quantum Leap, Season 1, Episode 6. This is the review. The name of the series, the show, the episode, is What a Disaster. And I didn't exactly know that was the name of the episode. Mm-hmm. And I went on YouTube about a day late before I had seen it. And I'm looking at all these reviews that say, like, Quantum Leap review, what a disaster. And I'm like, what happened? Like... What everyone is hating this episode.
I know, right? It was a terrible episode because it's a disaster.
Yeah.
It actually has a really good premise. I remember that day very clearly because I was just close enough to be able to feel the earthquake, but far enough away that it was barely felt.
Yeah. I guess I was born, but I don't remember any of it. So,
well, you were 9, so
yeah.
I mean, you were much further south than I was.
Okay, so my friends, if you don't know how it works, it's fairly simple. We have these two little scores here, and we like something, we give it an upvote. We dislike something, we give it a downvote. And at the very end of the episode, we will tally those two scores and average them out and say, hey, this is the official Popcast score. Ready?
Yeah, I like it.
Here's the deal, boys.
Can't do nothing without some Wesley Crusher.
Yeah, I'm wearing the Shut Up Wesley shirt. See that? Yeah. All right, here we go. We open up on the very last episode where he is still in the Old West. He's trying to mac on Addison, right? And he's like, I wish I can touch you.
It's a replay of the last episode.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah. Oh, is it? No, it's not. No, they're showing when he jumped.
Yeah, but I know. Well, that's true. So they replay kind of the end of
this. Right.
Yeah.
So he's like, I wish a hologram can touch you, but holograms can't. And then Leaper X Martinez is like, stop following me.
No, you do not call him Leaper X.
Leaper X, I'm doing it.
Do not.
I agree with Ian's Leaper X.
Magic says no go on Leaper X.
Yeah, well, I'm saying I'm on Team Ian on this one. So
I think they fell a little flat on that one. Like I think it was supposed to be funny, but I didn't understand why he couldn't be Leaper X. Like, there was no, Magic didn't really have a good reason.
Well, so X usually means they don't have a name.
That's not why he was doing it, though. From the very beginning, he wanted to call him Leaper X, and Magic's like, no, don't do that. And I couldn't quite figure out why he didn't want him to be Leaper X. So the joke, to me, fell like a little flat.
Yeah, I guess it.
And Ian seemed a little more, uncomfortable every time. I don't know. It was supposed to be funny, but I don't think Ernie pulled that one off.
No. So Leaper X is like, Ben, stop following me. I know where you're from. And if you know what's good for you, you'll stop following me. And Ben's like, who are you? And then he jumps. And we're in the present. And this is I'm sorry. We're in San Francisco. I apologize. And we're in San Francisco. And Jewel State. This is her episode, my friends.
What a great shot. I wish you would have left it paused there for just a second.
So Jewel State is in this episode. I gotta say, Jewel State, I love you, but the Hollywood plastic surgery thing is not working. Like, I don't know why people, these lovely, wonderful people, get plastic surgery, because it makes them look different. It took me a minute to recognize who it was. It was her voice that got me to recognize who she was.
I mean, I think a lot of people are just chasing their age. It's tough to be. I mean, because she was really a beautiful young lady, and she's worked hard at it. You can tell. So they just don't want to let it go. I get it, but it does more damage than I think good. She does not look attractive in this episode at all.
No, she doesn't even look like herself.
Yeah,
a different person, dude. That bums me out a little bit, I'm being honest. But she was still great in the episode. So it opens up. He's in San Francisco, 1989, and he's like trying to figure it out. And I love the way they did this. Actually, my first upvote here is the way he is trying to navigate this obviously hostile conversation while looking for clues as to where he is and when.
Right. Yeah. No, that's definitely good quantum leaping.
And when he realizes it, and she's not taking him seriously, he realizes where he's at, he looks on the TV. He's like, "Oh my God, they're not going to play that game. We have to get out of here."
Yeah. Well, that was a cool moment because we all know that earthquake from that game, because it was one of the rare times in history that there was like a nationally televised thing happening while a natural disaster was occurring.
Right.
And I was watching that game when it happened as well.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so they're running out of the bar, and things are exploding all around them.
Great action. I'm going to give an upvote here. They did a really good job with like making it feel like there was really an earthquake happening. I got the sense that there was danger. They did a really good job by the production.
Yeah, so earthquakes, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but earthquakes are actually pretty hard to pull off on screen, because with other natural disasters, there's usually something that comes with it. Water, rain, tornado, whatever, right? But with an earthquake, it's just shaking. And you can shake the camera, but that effect's been done to death. Doesn't look right. So you have to somehow show that, like, the disorientating part of a earthquake and all the damage it would control, but without the actual visual elements that would usually supersede those damages. And I like what they did here, because the camera was sort of like, it wasn't shaking, but it was sort of swaying and moving. And you could tell the actors pulled it off. Like, they were trying to like move into, see how the ground is not level. It's very clever.
Look at her face. Jewel hasn't had a lot of acting lately. A little bit. I mean, granted, you would be pretty freaked out, I think.
Yeah, I suppose so. I've been in earthquakes. Not like this, but like...
No, that's a huge earthquake. I've been in a few rollers, though, for sure.
Yeah, earthquakes definitely freak you out, though. Because you're like...
Oh, yeah. It's unsettling, dude. When your feet suddenly are just like, don't do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And you don't know if, like, okay, is this going to get worse? Do I just hunker down and figure it out? Or do I stumble outside somehow?
You know, we might actually have some people who remember about 3 or 4 years ago, you and I were doing a stream when an earthquake happened.
Oh yeah, we were. That was freaky.
Yes.
I remember being like, yeah. This is before I had my wall of Red Bull cans, because had I had that wall back then, they would have all been gone.
It'd been funny to watch them fall down, actually.
Oh, yeah. Although by now, if I had started it back then, by now it would be like the whole wall would just be Red Bulls. Okay. So there's an earthquake. She's like, "How did you know?" And then someone gets hurt, and she has to run over there and help them. And I wanted to talk about this. The new Quantum Leap title. Seems like they're changing it up a lot. We're not getting the intro like we normally got. And even the logo is different.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they must be just kind of adjusting as they go. Maybe they're getting feedback or something. It doesn't really bother me a whole lot. I think the weirdest thing about the whole intro is when they kind of say the intro and they say that he's trying to get back to the people and the place he calls home. The wording like throws me off every time.
Yeah,
it's like they really put like a premium on people, the people portion.
Right.
Oh, and just saying, hey, look, he's just trying to get home. So in the future, you don't need all those words, but okay.
Right.
It's fine. It's not that big. I mean, it's not taking
trying to get home.
I will say that I believe this was my favorite episode so far.
Yeah, great episode.
And as we should point out that this was the original pilot episode. So originally this was going to be the pilot instead of the one where we get Live Aid, where there's like a heist happening.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was they felt like this wasn't good for the pilot. And so they ended up reshooting the pilot, which ended up being the heist for the baseball, the big diamond.
Yeah.
The Hope Diamond.
Yeah.
With
the two-dimensional bad guys.
Yeah.
I don't trust you because you're a driver. Yeah.
And this one got relegated to mid-season. And what's interesting is you'll notice that at one point here, Addison comes back and tells Ian, my hand link isn't working, right? And he hands her, well, here's this older hand link. Well, the reason they do that is when they shot this episode, they had used a different version of the hand link. So, and they updated, they upgraded it after the pilot. And that's what they've been using so far. So when they came to episode 6, they had to come up with an excuse for her to be using this other hand link for the whole episode.
Oh.
So they did this quick shoot where it was, oh, here, use this old one.
Oh, that's clever. I like that.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
You know
and
what?
They also used the sounds from the hand link for the first time was the same ones Al used to have on his hand link.
That's cool. Nice. You know what I like about that? I like that they took the effort to plug a continuity issue. Like, considering we probably wouldn't even notice that the hand link was different, right? But they took yeah. Oh, I mean, the super sleuths would have noticed, and it would have been criticized. They took the time to sort of plug that issue, even though a lot of shows wouldn't even have tried.
I think you're right. Yeah, they want it to be good. You can see with everything they're doing, they want this show to be a good show. Mm-hmm. And it is NBC's #1 new show. So, Peacocks.
Well, there you go. Well done, Peacock. Peacock?
What?
It's a stupid name for a streaming service. You know it is. I know it's technically their mascot or whatever, but it's stupid.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like it.
You like it now.
They got the peacock for decades and decades. The peacock is the logo. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I'm the first one to show for Peacock when I said, listen, when it comes to a cost benefit, the most bang for your buck streaming service is Peacock. For like $6 a month, you can get, for now, for like $6 a month, you get access to the most amount of content in one place, period, the end. But I don't like their name, and I hate their interface. The interface is garbage. It is.
Well, I still had to watch 3 commercials during this episode. So for $7 a month, I'm still watching commercials. And I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah.
Like I can just watch NBC.
I mean that's not fair because you can't just watch NBC.
I mean, you can if
you can watch live, but you're not going to watch what you want to watch. What are you going to do? You're going to wait for it to come on,
right? But I'm literally only watching Peacock for.
And if you watch NBC, there's going to be commercials. So you're paying $7 to have access to an entire catalog that you will never get on the live channel.
I guess that's fair, but listen, I don't need the ads, so let's figure it out.
Well, then pay for it.
I don't want to pay.
Well, then you're cheap. Then you're cheap because it's $12.
Well, it's 12. Yeah, but how many streaming services are there? So after the 56 streaming services that have everything, you end up spending $5,000 on television.
You're right, but that's what I'm saying. If you are on a budget, cancel all the other streaming services and just have Peacock. And I have my problems with Peacock, but like as far as entertainment value goes, they have more content than any other streaming service.
Right, but I'm saying like you're right. If you're like an average person who doesn't have to cover 46 different television shows,
yes,
you're right.
I feel like
for me personally,
I feel like you should spend the extra $5 and not have ads. I'm just saying, bro. You've complained about it 3 times now.
I know. Especially when you're making a video.
Or get an ad blocker.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Don't pay for it and get an ad blocker. Basically, I'm telling you to steal it.
Make our own pirate ship.
Steal it. When Shane was writing this last episode we were doing, he was like, hey, I need access to the TV show. It doesn't come out until midnight. I'm like, well, I mean, it came out somewhere, right? He's like, yeah, I suppose so. It's out on the East Coast. I'm like, arg.
Well done. And it worked out great.
All right. So Addison's talking to Ben, and he wants to know more about Leaper X. And Addison's like, listen, you got to focus entirely on getting through this leap and let us deal with Leaper X, which is going to make sense because if he misses the window, then he's stuck there, right?
Yeah, it does make sense. I will say that I did hear a complaint about the show, which I thought was interesting. And it's that no one back at headquarters ever seems concerned about the leap. So everybody at headquarters is never working on like what's happening with Ben's leap. They're always working on like Leaper X or Janis or something else. And I thought that was funny that they probably should have a little bit more, like the whole purpose of them being there is to try to get Ben back safely. But it seems like Addison's the only one who is really doing anything about it, which I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, you should at least have Ian commenting on it or something.
More often, I would think, yeah. Because I get the security. I mean, what's Jen going to do? Magic. I mean, obviously, he's kind of that kind of makes sense. But yeah, there should probably be a little more conversation between Ian and Addison about what's going on with the leap. Yeah.
So they find out the purpose of his leap is basically to save. What's that?
She just looks rough there. It's just like
she does.
Like
See, I hate that I brought this up, but it's true. Like, as someone who've watched, I've watched a lot of Jewel State, from Firefly to Stargate. You know, she was one of my favorite sci-fi queens. Okay, but something like this is what happens in Hollywood. Like, people are chasing their youth, but not everyone has the $1 billion the Kardashians have to chase their youth. So, like,
right. I mean, you can't really see it a whole lot here. It's just maybe the faces she was making. Every time you pause it, it's a little odd. Maybe I'm being a little too critical.
Her faces are very emotive, but it doesn't look like Jewel State. It looks like a different actor. Like, her voice comes through, but yeah. I don't want to be too harsh, you know.
That happened to Renee Zellweger.
Yeah,
like
you're right.
She became a different person at some point.
Yeah, it was like a different person. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, same with not Paris Hilton. What's the other half of Paris Hilton? What's her name?
I remember her. Yeah, it was
Faith. What's the other half of Paris Hilton?
The less famous
Paris Hilton friend. Remember? She doesn't know.
She did the reality shows with her.
She did the reality show. Someone in chat tell us. But she looks like a different person too. And what's crazy, she's related to like Lionel Richie, right? Nicole Richie.
Oh, yeah.
No, not Nicole Richie. Something Richie.
No, Lionel Richie. No, it is. It's her last name's Richie.
Her last name's Richie. Damn it.
Yes.
Look it up. Look up who's
I mean, I guess I could just do it here really quick.
Paris Hilton's best friend. I mean, this doesn't matter. But if you look at her when she was with Paris Hilton in those reality shows, and you look at her now, it's a different person.
Richie.
Nicole Richie. I said the name Nicole Richie.
Did you?
Yeah, she's like a different person. She's a completely different person. She's like even her body is different. Like it looks like she is related loosely to Nicole Richie, but not Nicole Richie.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I think that's what happens. I think that's what plastic surgery actually does. It kind of makes you look like you're related to the person you're supposed to be. Is that Jewel State's sister?
Oh my God, it's Jewel State's sister.
Wow. It's Diamond State or whatever.
Ruby State.
Ruby, better name.
All right. Anyways, so the leap that they're going on, you got me on this tangent, by the way. I was about to continue.
I'm sorry. My bad.
And he's got to save the person he jumped into. He's got to save their son. And because of the earthquake, the son is going to probably die in some building or something. Saving someone else, I guess. I don't know what. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a mission every time. These people are getting divorced. I guess we should add that.
Yes.
So, she wants a divorce because their marriage is no longer good. She moved them from Oakland to San Francisco.
What a change.
It's not even that big of a change. It's kind of hilarious. It's literally like a bay away. Like, the kid was like freaking out because he couldn't be near his friends. I'm like, literally, I guess in 89, it's true. Like, you didn't call outside your area code or whatever. So maybe that was a big deal. Yeah, it kind of was a big deal because I couldn't even call the next town over without my parents freaking out. And like,
but Oakland,
bill's $200.
Oakland and San Francisco are two completely different places.
They are, but they're right next to each other.
They are, but they're so different. One is sort of spread out and urban, and one is like,
right.
But one is San Francisco. Look at every movie you've ever seen. Look at San Francisco is a mess. Although you know what this told me when I saw this? I actually miss the old San Francisco. The San Francisco where it was like a big city and it's like and the crazy streets and the steam coming up out. You can go see the bridge and like a place.
Those things are all still there.
Right, they're there, but you have to wade through a bunch of meth heads and needles to get to your location, and you might get killed if you want to go out on a stroll at 2 o'clock in the morning.
And it's $50 if you want to park anywhere.
And it's $50, and you better be wearing waders because you're gonna there's gonna be a point where you have to actually wade through human feces. That is the new San Francisco.
Yeah, we might be a little bit over exaggerating, but it is very similar. Now, there's going to be a bone to pick later in this episode because you got to realize that Ben is literally going to run from San Francisco to Oakland under the water through the BART tunnels. And let me just tell you, he's never going to make that in the time. So when they wrote this episode, I think they said, nobody's really going to know, right? That how long it would actually take to walk or run from San Francisco to Oakland, right? Because he had like an hour and a half to get to the kid.
Yeah, he should have gotten a motorcycle or a car or something.
Well, they couldn't. Well, all the bridges collapsed during that. So in order to get across the bay, literally the only thing open was the BART.
Then it should have been a bicycle. Should have been a bicycle.
Bicycle would have probably been a little better, but yeah. So I just thought
I was thinking the same thing because I was like, wait a minute, like what they're saying seems like it's really far. I'm not even sure how far away, but this seems like it's really far away.
Well, let's find out really quick.
Because if you told me that I had an hour and a half to get from where I'm at right now to Santa Ana, I don't know if I would make it there on foot.
Well, you'd have a heart attack. And the other thing that was funny is the man that he was in was not in shape.
No.
Like you saw the man he's in, it's like me or you trying to run to Oakland.
Right.
And it's like, what's going on here? It's literally 30. Okay. So it's 16 miles. So that guy run like half a marathon.
Right. Okay. So when I was in the military, I did my best time for a mile was 7 minutes?
That's a fast mile, dude.
And
really.
But I was 20.
That's a fast mile, I will say. I mean, that's yeah, okay. At 20, yeah, I can see 7 minutes. Yeah.
I was 20 years old. I was peak performance. This is not my first test. My first test, I think my first mile was 20 minutes.
Okay.
But after when I did my advanced training, and I had like a 4-pack, and I was muscular, and I had lost like 250 pounds.
You can do it in 7 because the Olympics can do it in 4. So
yeah, I did a mile in probably a little over 7 minutes. So if you do that math though, what?
Do it. No, keep going. 16 times 7. Go ahead.
Right. At my best, 16 times 7. There's no way I'm making it.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Right. So and this guy was in my current shape, and I'm not even sure I can make it 1 mile without dying. So
well, Addison makes a comment. I mean, I know we haven't even got there. We're like totally talking about the whole episode. Addison makes a comment like, "You better take a breather. That guy's not in the shape you are." You're like, really? You should have told him that 14 miles ago.
Right. They should have given him a bike.
This still is my favorite episode, even though I'm criticizing.
Right. That. All right. So real quick, back at the Quantum Leap headquarters.
Back in the lab.
They're trying to figure out what's going on with Leaper X and
not Leaper X.
Leaper X. And Jen has this wild theory. I don't know if she's expressed it yet, but let me turn the subtitles on because I'm forgetting where she's at.
Yeah, we should always have subtitles.
Right. My bad, guys.
My bad.
And this is a real mind cuss. I like you said that, mind cuss.
I love that. I love that people use the word cuss instead of an actual cuss word.
Yeah.
Like that came from the Fox, that show with George Clooney.
I remember.
You remember the one where he was the claymation or whatever, the Fox? Anyways, that's where they came from.
That's funny. I'm going to use that, though.
It's good.
All right. So they're talking about where Martinez, Leaper X, could have came from. And they're like, well, maybe he came from the future. Okay. And that's about it. So we're back to San Francisco circa 1989. What?
It was just fast. And that's about it. Okay. So moving on.
I mean, look, the B stories, let's be real, it's like 98% exposition.
Oh yeah, well yeah, and it's a very small portion of what's going on. But no, I think you made the point there.
Yeah.
They got 3 options. It's either a foreign government, it's a private company, or he's come from this lab from the future. Those are the 3 options.
Right. And the most reasonable option is probably from the future.
Right.
All right. So, they're talking about what we have to do. And
Right now, they're back at the house they moved into, like him and Jewel State live in. That's their home in San Francisco.
And now there's a flashback. He's thinking about his mom in the past. What triggered the mom thing? Do you remember?
I think it was he asked about his parents because this kid is alone and without his parents, and so it triggered him asking Addison about his parents, and she was hesitant to tell him, your dad died, or they were dead, and you never really talked about your dad, but his mom. I think that this was, and I want to give an upvote here. This was the best acting so far for our main character, for Ben, for Raymond Lee. But the problem is this was shot first, and this confuses me a little bit. Once I realized that this is like the best he acted so far in the whole show, but this is the first thing they shot. So when you see the actual pilot episode that we originally, I had heavy criticism. Like, I don't know, I'm not seeing much emotion, not seeing much going on with this character. It doesn't feel like, but it is the beginning. So maybe that's what's going on here. And this had actually been filmed before that. And I'm watching this going, wow, this guy is really engaged in this character. So I'm not sure what happened. It's a little bit of a negative point. I think that his acting actually got a little worse after this episode. So
I disagree with that, by the way.
I mean, I still enjoy it, but would you argue that this is not his best acting?
No. I think there's other acting. I think his acting has been pretty much the same the whole entire time. I think in that first pilot episode, his acting was analytical and to the point. In fact, I would even argue that you were like, in fact, that would actually make sense. So you were saying, how is he so calm here? When that was his first leap or whatever, right? But you got to remember, from the actor's perspective, that's not his first leap.
Well, then that's a criticism because he should have known.
No, but
this is really my first leap, because when they filmed it, when they said, okay, well, we got to do a different pilot.
No, but they went back and edited you said they went back and made edits and probably reshoots. So a lot of this footage is from his perspective. This is my first leap. This is the way I need to act. Or this is not my first leap.
I'm saying when they went to go shoot the actual thing they used as a pilot, after they'd already done this, he needed to say, this is my first trip into the past. I probably need to be a little bit more, I would say. And listen, Raymond Lee doesn't have a lot of acting experience.
Right.
Let's be clear. He's a very, he's an inexperienced actor, and he's getting his chops, and he's doing fine.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
I like him a lot.
I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm just saying this performance was emotional, connective. I felt like I learned more about the character, and I cared about what was happening with him greatly, because anybody can understand, like, if your mom dies and like the last moment you had with her was a fight or something bad, how much he must have carried that for the rest of his life. And he showed us that in his emoting throughout the episode. We got that connection. So it's the closest I felt to the character so far.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's fair. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of like a younger, more straight, and I'm not referring to the sexuality, but like less funny version of Randall Park. The guy from Fresh Off the Boat and WandaVision and Ant-Man. Like that guy. He has that same vibe.
Yeah, they look very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do have, but Randall Park, it is funny. I actually saw Randall Park recently, and I thought I kind of did a little bit of a double take. I'm like, is that Raymond? Oh, no, that's Randall Park. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And they have the same sort of vocal patterns too. But Raymond Lee is more serious, and Randall Park, he plays everything like a joke.
True.
Which is fine for what he's in, All right, we're back at Project Quantum Leap headquarters
with Leaper X.
Now, this is actually, I feel like I need to give this a downvote, and I don't want to, because I love this show. And I can totally put this away as a necessary thing, but I don't know how they can possibly have a picture of what this dude looks like. Like, I can't. I'm trying.
They pulled it from the imaging chamber.
Right, the imaging chamber. So Addison is somehow seeing the correct version, and
They explained it. They explained this.
yeah, but it's so thin. It's like
No,
it's like
I thought it was weird.
it's like when you it's like the way she explained it was when I explained to my kids, like, we can't go get ice cream right now because your mom left something at the bank, and then it's bedtime. Let's go to bed. Like, it felt like you explained it really quick, but then they rushed through the parts that didn't make any sense to me.
I mean, she got out dolls and stuff, dude. I mean, like, she
I know.
explained it to him.
No, that was
I felt like I understood it. Now, the reason they had to explain it was in the original series, it was a little different because there were times when Al did not recognize that someone was leaping, especially with the evil leapers. So they had to say, so this must be new technology. We're assuming this is a new technology with the thing that anybody leaping can be seen because of the, and I'm okay with that as long as it's new and not a continuation of what it was before.
Okay, you talked me out of a downvote, but I still think it's specifically for the story.
I mean, it's okay, but doesn't it expand on what
modifying what other things do, and like using the fact that it's in the future as an excuse? I don't know. It feels a little thin to me. It feels thin. I'm just being honest. I love it. I love this show, but it feels like it feels thin. Then, granted, I'm not the quantum leap expert. You are, but I know I have watched a lot of the older series, and I felt like this is not.
Well, Sam didn't know who the evil leaper was the first time until he touched her, and then he knew. So there was that, but the way they said it was they didn't indicate that this is the way it's always been. They kind of indicated that this is the way this is. So remember, they're not using the old facility.
That's right.
They didn't like go to Sam's like place and like start leaping from there. They rebuilt the entire thing.
Yeah, the old location. Yeah, the old location was New Mexico, right?
Yeah, and so it's also 30 years later. So it's possible that the imaging chamber can do that. I mean, I think it seemed realistic to me.
Okay.
But I get you.
Okay, so they got a picture of Martinez, and that means that they can, and she busts the dolls out or whatever.
I mean, it's kind of funny that she feels like she needs to do that in order to explain it to Magic. That's kind of funny. Right. It's like they want to be funny, but I think Ernie is the one not quite connecting the funniness. Like, either he's not reacting properly, or I'm not exactly sure how to explain it. This was supposed to be funny, but it just falls short a little bit. Don't you see that?
Yeah, it's almost like, I hate to say it, but I think so, because Ernie is playing like the straight man, right? Mm-hmm. And all of his reactions have to be, straight and serious. I don't know if he is actually a straight and serious actor.
Ooh. I think you're right. He needs to have a sarcastic face, a sarcasm face. When she did that to him, he should have been like,
right. Like Captain
really?
Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It should have been something like that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But it's not a comedy, so you got to be careful. Like, you can only dabble in it a bit.
Right, but that actor is playing like, well, he's a gay man, but he's playing a straight, like, all of his actions are straight and serious. So when someone around him does something silly, his reaction is what makes it funny.
Yes, the reaction is what makes it funny. You're right.
All right. So I think that's what it is. I think Ernie is just not that kind of an actor. So he's got to fall into that role, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's times when he's delivering good stuff, but I think I just maybe the way he's reacting to what other people are doing is the issue. So
what's funny is that I think because of my intense love of Ghostbusters, every time I see a Ghostbuster outside of Ghostbusters, I'm like, I love this. I love them, and they're awesome.
They can do no wrong.
They can do no wrong. But they are actors, and they're not. They have their own styles, and those styles aren't always going to fit whatever they're doing.
And in general, I've enjoyed Ernie's acting this show. So I'm not. He's playing his role well. I'm just saying, if this is what they're going for, maybe a little bit Maybe we need a little bit more of him shutting people down.
Yeah,
or the way he does it or something.
We need him to be a little more alpha.
Yeah, maybe that's, and he does come across very alpha sometimes, but kind of in weird situations.
Right.
You know,
but then he also comes off as sort of kind sometimes. We're like, no, he's nice.
It's a little confusing.
He's got to stop playing the nice guy all the time. Like, it's okay for him to be a little mean. Like when later on when Martinez is sort of afraid of him, obviously because of his rank, he's like, no, son, it's fine. I'm like, no, you need to be like, sit down.
Yeah, I could see that. Right, yeah.
Okay, so they're doing facial recognition. I do like this, and here's my upvote. It seems like Ian is constantly getting upvotes from me because it's, I don't know what the.
Yeah, I like this upvote too. I love this. This was actually funny.
I don't know what the proper pronouns are, but the actor really plays everything correctly, and they are like, hey, this, you know how long this is going to take, right? This is going to take weeks.
Yeah, this could take. Yeah, it could take.
This could take weeks.
Yeah. They just kind of the look is, and that was actually a really.
And that's true though, because like when they were looking through all the databases and he was explaining, I'm like, okay, so like I actually thought in my head, so like knowing how computers work, if they find this face in the next 30 seconds, this is like that stupid Hollywood nonsense that we hate so much, right?
Yeah. It would be irritating. It would have been irritating. Right. I was thinking the exact same thing.
And then Ian's like,
and they pop the joke.
Right. Hey, it's good to take weeks. You know this, right? Like, there's no reason to stick around here. Like, well, I can't take weeks. I need it right now. It's like, ding. He's like,
yeah,
of course. Because it could take weeks, or they can get lucky, and it can be one of the faces they come across first.
And because he's a Marine, it's very likely it would have came up fast.
Right, because they're searching. They start with their own government facilities first, right?
The database, yeah.
And they didn't know that he was Marine yet, but it makes sense that they find him first in their government databases.
Exactly. So upvote that for me, please.
Yeah, that was super clever. I want this background from my computer. Like, I don't know why you have so many sensors on a computer that's just searching for faces, but I want that many sensors too. Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right. So they find Martinez, and they're gonna
subtitles again.
No, they're on there, but I was just not playing it.
Oh, okay.
So unless he swapped faces with someone in the past, then that's 100% him. No.
Got it.
All right, so now they're gonna go. He said, "Look at all these." I don't even know what any of this means.
Good graphics.
Like, yeah, but like I spent the last 3 days, elbow deep in a server, and this is not what servers look like. None of this information makes sense, but whoever made it, good job.
Server looks like to your normal person.
Right, to an average person, this is like high tech.
Ports 1 to 25 online. Green.
It looks like he's looking at like a network hub. It's like a standard network hub.
I don't know. To me, I'm like, yeah, looks good to me.
Right.
I don't know nothing about servers.
And what is this? Is this latency? If that's latency, that is incredibly low. It looks like latency. Because it shows your last, your average, and your max. Those are latency terms, but
okay.
And why are there so many CPUs? And why is it that this CPU and this CPU are running at different loads than the rest of the CPUs?
Well, it is a server. So
right, but CPUs that are working together share a load. So they should all be around the same load. Now, they vary by a percent or two, but CPUs 6 and 8 are incredibly low. It's like they're not even on.
It shows like the level of detail they go into to make it different, because they could have just made them all the same, and people, they really going for it here.
And there's a random save icon up here. What are you saving? The screen?
Look at network scan 1.9920492. I mean, it's like.
Why do you have a cloud and a network? Why are there two separate things? It's the same thing.
System. Anyways, for everybody who doesn't know what the heck you're talking about, they're all like, okay.
I want to know what this arbitrary number means. Network scan 1.9929.
All of the
no complaints. Look, there's no complaints here. Look, I remember seeing the screen for some of the Orville stuff that Tom Constantino made. Like I was like, that looks really clever. I know Tom Constantino is not like a computer guy. So he's like, port open. All right, moving on. Back in San Francisco, 1989. And he's talking to Jewel State, his wife. He's Leaper's wife. And what did I talk about here? Let's find out. Brandon said Jason wanted to go home. This is when they find out that Jason wanted to go back to Oakland to see his, I guess, grandfather or something.
No.
Friend?
That was a neighbor.
Neighbor? Okay.
He was just going home because that's what teenagers do when they're upset. They don't have a home there, but they're going to go there. So.
Right. I guess that's, I don't know. Is that accurate? I don't have teenagers yet.
I'll kill my kid if he tries to go from San Francisco to Oakland by himself when he's about 12 years old. How old was that kid? 13?
Like 12 or 13 tops.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when he's like, Jason, I'm so glad you're okay. My response would be like, Jason, come here. I'm going to whoop your ass, boy.
I mean, I could see him like going to his room and crying because his parents are getting a divorce, but literally trying to go to another town. I don't know about that.
All right. All right. So he's got to go save Jason. And that's it. That's where we're at. That's what he's got to do. Back in that, and I'm going to give that an upvote because, it was a very quick way to explain exactly what he had to do and how and when. I like that. Some exposition is important, and I like it when they can fly by the exposition as quickly as possible to get me up to speed.
Okay.
I know you don't like it, but I do.
Well, I mean, it was just, if that would be to me, that'd be an example of pushing the plot along without really doing it believably. But
that was a believable way to do it.
What, the kid was going to end up in Oakland?
Well, no, not. You know what?
There were no buildings that almost crushed somewhere in San Francisco.
You're right. I'm going to drop that down. I forgot that he had to go to Oakland.
I'm like, yeah, no problem.
You just talked me out of an upvote, Shane.
I'm sorry. I didn't upvote it or downvote it because I was like,
you got a good point. Why did he have to go to Oakland?
Because they said they moved. Couldn't they have moved neighborhoods? Why did it have to be from Oakland?
San Francisco is plenty big. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be Oakland. I don't understand that.
Right. It could have been he left his friends from another part of town. Yeah, it's a big place.
It could have been that he went to go get yogurt. It could have been anything.
It could have been anything, right? Yeah. It did not. They had to have a reason for like their divorce. I get like this whole moving thing, and I think it's hilarious. Like this giant move of our life. I thought it would be better for us to leave Oakland and go to San Francisco, where you could have commuted 30 minutes a day to your job and stayed at the same house with your kid and your husband, and you don't end up divorced.
Yeah. The guy walked. He ran. He ran to where you used to live. Like, how is that a big move?
30-minute drive.
If you can run somewhere in an hour, it's not a big move.
It's not a big move.
You got a really good point there. You didn't have to upend your entire family for your job that was 30 minutes away via train or car.
And now we know why this wasn't the pilot, because somebody at network would have been like, yeah, no. That doesn't make any damn sense. But you can squeeze it into episode 6 and people are going to be like, yeah, the show's good. All right, whatever.
It's still a good episode. It's still a good episode.
I enjoyed the heck out of it. If you take away like the traveling distance and the purpose and the reason and all that stuff, and you just stick to like the action, we're good.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. Like the big move.
The big move.
22 minutes away from our last living location.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I traveled farther today before the show, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I didn't. I literally walked across my yard. But yes.
Good for you. I'm glad.
Sorry.
So back at Project Quantum Leap headquarters.
Leaper X.
Leaper X. They're on they're on the trail of Leaper X.
They're on the trail.
They will find that his name is Martinez.
Oh, interesting note, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
A character from the original Quantum Leap series was named Tina Martinez.
Mm.
She was like a prodigy child that Al ends up hiring and I think kind of dating for the Quantum Leap project.
I'm sorry. Wait. Go back.
Al was
Al found a prodigy's child and
But
married
she
her?
was no longer a child. Yeah. Okay. So she was an adult.
Right. So the way you said that was
that sounded really bad.
Al
Sorry.
found a prodigy child
Yes. I was quickly trying to recap in
from
my
the
head.
hood and married her.
Well, she actually was not. This is, I think, most interesting. She was not. She was a white woman in the show with the last name Martinez, but she wasn't married to anyone that was like a Martinez name.
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was odd. But, hey, it's TV, and that was the way you dealt. Back in the day, that's how you did wokeness. Like,
right.
you
just
take
change
a
their
white
last
person and
name,
stick a Hispanic last name on them, or something like that. That's
Or
how
like-
you did it in the 80s.
Like that biggest woke thing of all from around that era when they were having that big award ceremony, like the Oscars or something, and the Native American lady goes up there and plays with someone else, and she starts like preaching about Native American stuff, and she's wearing like a Halloween costume, right? She looks like an extra from a John Wayne film.
Yes,
and she's not American Indian. She's like Irish. Her name is like Ruby Jones, and you're like, she's like, you have raped my people. And you're like, it's so funny because it's like, she's trying to get this message across that is like probably important to a lot of people, but she first off she's so rich and white, she's like a cheesecake, and she's wearing a costume from a 1950s John Wayne film, which was arguably, and no offense to John Wayne, but in nowadays time, it's super racist. And and she's like, you have to so talk about the wrong person to do that, to put that message out there, and talk about the worst costume. But everyone was clapping. Remember that? Everyone was clapping. Now, years later, we can go back and be like, okay, so that was one of the most ridiculous woke Hollywood nonsense thing ever.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but for the time, it was actually like really, really edgy.
Oh, it was super edgy, but
it's like what's going on here?
Again, the actual person was so rich and white, she could have been a cheesecake.
Yeah.
She had an Indian costume on, like with a feather and everything, dude. Like, it was so stupid. All right. Back in San Francisco. Wow, we get off these tirades. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. Oh, it's because I made a comment about.
Yeah.
And then you made
it's your fault.
Had a nice long story about it.
So they're trying to
explain. You guys are
entertained. They're trying to explain that, hey, the move was good. It got us into a better place, Jason into a better school. Hey, guys.
That's probably true.
It's 20 minutes away, though. I mean, I'm just saying, you ran there. You run there at some point.
At about 225 pounds. Yeah.
He's having flashbacks of his time.
Every time you stop on her face, man, it's like, what is going on?
I'm not controlling this. I'm just.
That is insane. She looks like a turtle. What is going on? I mean, listen, guys. I'm not trying to be mean here. Like, she's making these faces.
Oh God. Oh God, that is a rough place to stop.
We're like the Firefly guys, so don't get mad.
Yeah, thank you.
But leave it paused on that a little longer, please.
I knew you were gonna say something the second it hit. I was like, what if I scroll past faster? I gotta write this time down here. Okay.
You may have been wrong about the little note from Chris over here, and I vaguely remember that thing from the Marlon Brando thing. Little Feather and Marlon Brando, that was actually a spokesperson for Native Americans. It was not a white woman.
I think she was white.
Well, Satchet's Little Feather was not a white person.
I don't know. I don't know. Are you sure? She was wearing an actual Indian costume with a feather.
No. Yeah, look at her. She's an Indian. Sachin Little Feather.
Sachin?
It's an Indian. It's a Native American name, bro.
I got it.
Oh, no. Her sister does say she was not Native American. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. So because I think she looks sort of Native American. She looks the part.
Yeah, she's not Native American, though. I read this whole hit piece about her.
Interesting. So at the time, though, so let's be fair to the time. At the time, everyone thought she was Native American. So we need to be clear about that because you said she was a white woman up there and everybody kind of knew it and clapped anyways.
No. I didn't say people knew it.
Well, you kind of alluded to that. So I would say that they thought they were clapping for a Native American Indian. It would turn out later that she was actually not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was just a white chick.
Yeah, good catch on that there, Archmage. Make me look it up. Or Chris Retzlaff.
Yeah, but she wasn't Native. She wasn't Native American though, so I wasn't wrong.
You were not wrong, but I think you made it sound like everybody was clapping for a white woman. They were technically.
Technically, they were. Yeah.
They didn't know they were, so you got to let all those people off the hook back then.
Okay, I'll let all the rich celebrities off the hook. My bad, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry if I offended your.
I mean, look, even rich celebrities have feelings too. Okay, some of them at least do.
Sure.
But back to the turtle face. Speaking of being sensitive about people's feelings, listen. Love you, Jewel State. If you're watching this, I doubt you are.
There's no way she's watching this now, bro.
I follow your tweets. They're cool. You talk about your kid. It's all good. Listen.
She's
you got a
coming on the show.
A working actor is a good thing, always. So,
oh my god.
Always a good. I want to know what she's going to do next. She was in like kids show called Space Cases, I think, as like a engineer of a ship.
I do.
From Canada. Okay, we're like way off the rails now.
I know. So. Remember when we did the history and when it came to her portion, like you were talking about, I had to go try to find episodes from a 19-something Canada episode of science fiction.
You found it.
I found it, bro, on the dark web, dude. I had to sell one of my kids.
So Jewel State's on the dark web. Just Jewel State as a child is on the dark web, is what you're saying.
Oh God, this whole review is just off the rails. All right, we're back in the future. They find out Martinez is a Marine. They're gonna go visit him. He's actually off mission, visiting home with his abuelita. Right? Is that what he said?
Abuelita, yes. Well, abuela.
Abuela.
Abuelita is little grandma. Abuela is grandma.
Okay, so whatever he's visiting his family.
His grandma.
Is it those or his mom?
He says this is abuela, so
abuela, so it's grandma. Okay.
He's like, I think so, right? Yeah, he's like, I love this. Is actually I got a great upvote moment, just for our culture because we understand it. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, pause on his face there. Very important, and I don't think we can do it in this moment, but if you look at the actor, obviously they're filming all this at the same time. But you would think that if he was far into the future, they would have aged his jumping character a little bit. But they actually have the same face. So he must not be leaping from very far in the future.
Or he's got good genetics.
Maybe 5 years most. Well, you can't have that good of genetics. You're not going to notice more than... And plus, he's still a Marine, so there's a limited amount of time that he's going to have to be in the service, so...
Gotcha. Were you throwing shade at Marines right now?
Never throw shade at Marines because we gave them rides everywhere they wanted to go in the Navy. We did.
In the Army too. I used to drive those 5 tons with a bunch of Marines in the back.
Yeah, they don't have to drive themselves anywhere. It's fantastic.
No. So we're our 2 branches were basically Marine chauffeurs. That's
pretty much, especially the Navy. Literally, I think we exist to shuffle them from place to place. So,
dude, I remember I was at camp. Oh my God,
Pendleton?
where was it? Not Pendleton. I was at camp.
Lejeune?
That sounds right. I don't remember.
Lejeune's on the East Coast.
It was at a camp, and I was in the back of a 5-ton, and we were going up range for training or whatever. And there was a Marine. It was a whole bunch of Army guys. And there was one Marine in there. And he was dressed in different BDUs. The BDUs are
they're digitized camis, yeah.
The camouflage they wear. And so he stood out. And he had his own M16. And it was his. It had like his, like he customized this thing, bro. And he's like sitting there like this, and he's holding it, and he's like cleaning the barrel and like looking off into space. And we're like, yo, are you okay, man?
They spend so much time cleaning their weapons, bro. It's
I
like,
know he's just cleaning his
you got to come up with something to do. You got to use both hands. There's no cell phones back then to really hang out with. It's like you really have to like fantasize about like what's going on in the world.
Bro, the guy was just dead-eyed, just staring off into space, cleaning his M16, and we're like, "Hey, are you good?" And didn't even respond to us, like just like,
you know.
And finally, I'm like, "Hey, Sergeant, you okay?" He's like, "I'm fine." And then he physically, and it's hard to do, in a packed 5-ton, turns his back to us and looks out the back of the thing and continues cleaning his weapon. Like we are not worth the time to speak to us. And this is like a 2-hour trip. 2 hours of this dude just ignoring us and being as manly and badass as possible.
What was that line from Stripes? Don't ever call me psycho.
right. It's so weird.
I love this. Archmage says more off topics stories from Brian.
It's not me.
LOL.
Shane is doing this.
I didn't do this. You the one who went to like the whole Marine thing with a. I mean, I said he was a Marine. Listen, all this is this easy. I'm gonna do this. Santa Claus isn't real.
Okay, hold up. You're right. You're right. I could probably spin anything off. My bad. I'm sorry.
It's all right. You have good stories, and that's what matters.
All right. So, Oscar Martinez responds to them. Is it Oscar or did I just be racist?
I just like,
oh, damn it.
Like, did he just like racially discriminate? Like, I'm sorry, dude. It was so funny. I don't see him. Did Jesus Martinez just, you know? Hold on. Wow, you're so white, bro. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's Oscar Martinez, bro.
I think you're probably right, actually. But the fact that you didn't know, it's John Martinez. Actually, no, is it? Well, maybe it's not.
All right, whatever. Martinez.
He's not listed in the episode.
Look, whatever. His last name's Martinez. He opens the door and he sees these two people on the steps. And
wait, Oscar Martinez works at Dunder Mifflin. Thank you, Archmage, for literally from The Office. That's that character. You're right. And he was, of course, the patent Mexican guy that Michael was like, making the butt of all racial jokes, and he was gay.
Okay, if I'm being fair, this guy looks like this actor looks like he can be related to that actor.
He does, right? He kind of looks like him a little bit. That's fair.
All right. So his response though is very good and clinical because the older man who identified himself as admiral, right? Clearly way above rank, and he is concerned. Either they're there about a mission, and he is, you had me at hello kind of thing, whatever you need me to do, because he loves America, and he's a good soldier.
Yeah, he actually responded. I mean, that's how
Or he's in trouble.
A lot of good Marines respond.
Right, and I'm going to give this enough vote because having known some Marines, this is 100% how they would respond.
Like, send me, I'm ready. Let's go.
Send me.
Yeah, you can vote me on this one too.
Yeah. Whatever you, or either they're there for a mission or he's in trouble, which was, I mean, analytical response. Like there's only two options here. They're not there just to have some of Abuela's home cooked meal.
And I got to tell you, I also liked. I want to upvote. Also, they had this opportunity to take this to like a very woke place.
Yeah.
With the whole, they talk about his family and he's emotional about his family coming from a foreign country, coming across the border. They were, obviously illegal immigrants. So he joined the Marine Corps to become a citizen. And they could have really criticized like the fact that he wasn't able to be a citizen just off the bat. And I thought they were going to go there, but then they used that to like for his reason for joining the Marine Corps. And I'm like, that's a great reason. A lot of people join the military that are foreign nationals to become American citizens.
Yeah.
And that actually was really good.
Yeah, I actually know.
The guy's name is Richard Martinez.
All right, my bad. I'm sorry.
So there you like the serial killer, right?
I actually know a lot of military guys. When I was in the military, a lot of them joined for that reason. I mean, not
so
like
what you're
the
saying is
majority.
you have a lot of what you're saying is to get out of this, you have a lot of Mexican friends. Is that what you're saying?
Well, my wife is Mexican. My kids are half Mexican.
I guess that's fair.
Most of the people that come to my house on a daily basis are half Mexican. My nieces and nephews that I watch every day are Mexican. So
Are we going to get canceled for this?
There's no way I can get canceled. Okay, I am a proud.
You're going to
member.
start bringing your whole family in behind you.
I'm a proud member of the Latinx community. Come here, Oscar, Ninos, Reyes. Come here behind me, okay? Chewy, come here. I need you, Chewy. Joker, come here. Show him your smile, Joker. I need you.
All right, Faith, pop behind him right now, real quick.
The whitest person in the room.
Whitest person in the room.
She's not even in here. The second I started talking about Mexicans, she left. She was like, I don't want any part of this. I'm not getting canceled today.
The serial killer was Richard Ramirez. I just did the exact same thing. It's not even Richard Martinez.
So our chat is constantly keeping us constantly checking us at every single time.
That's right. I'm sorry. This is I'm married to a Mexican lady too. Just
his kids are half Mexican.
Yeah, it's all good.
We grew up in Southern California. That's what we are.
So here's very white though. I get it.
Great quick advertisement. If you want to be a member, okay.
Nobody wants to be a member now. But if you do want to be a member, you can get on the jokes by commenting during the show.
Click on the link in the description below, and you can help moderate us in real time. You can correct us and tell us what we're doing wrong.
Yes, they are monitoring. Yes.
Oh my God. All right. So they're there to see Martinez.
Oh, I love this. I got to upvote this right here because I think it's Magic or is it Jen? I can't remember which one said it, but somebody's like, "Oh no, it was Magic. Oh no, thank you. We're not hungry. We're not here to eat." And I love Martinez says just in a straight, yeah, that's not going to stop her.
Yeah, it's not going to stop her
because that is so the way it is in a Hispanic family. You know, the grandma or the mom is going to put food in front of you. And it's going to be amazing food, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason why I have such a hard time keeping the weight off. Even when I lost a bunch of weight. Like if you guys have been watching us for years now, maybe some of you have. I was really, really big, like 3 years ago. And I lost a bunch of weight. And then over COVID, like I was just fed. I was fed the same way you would feed someone that you plan to then murder and cook.
So like Hansel and Gretel kind of.
Right. I was fed by my wife and my wife's grandma and my wife's aunt and my wife's sister and like pretty much every single person in my wife's family is just constantly shoving food in my mouth. It's impossible to diet in my house. All right. Anyways, again, off topic, my bad. I do like this. I like this because Martinez asked Jen, "Oh, I didn't catch her name," and she was like, "I didn't give you my name."
That was kind of funny, yeah. I mean, it wasn't supposed to be funny, but yeah.
Right, and so basically they're there and they're like, "Look, they're trying to get information out of him without actually revealing about the Quantum Leap project."
Yeah,
and what they come to terms is that he's not the jumper, or at least not this version of him. They
not yet. Right. Yeah. And also they realize, or they do here in a moment, that there's a possibility. Ian actually brings up the point that there's a possibility that they make him a leaper in the future just by this interaction if he becomes very curious about magic and everything going on.
Right. And when we get there, it's going to be a downvote for me. It's going to be a downvote for me, dog. I'll tell you why. Back in San Francisco, Ben has got to save these people in the car from the transformer that's going to explode and light and kill them all or whatever.
I have a downvote for this.
That's downvote from me too, dude. Because that's not how electricity works. But it's okay.
Well, even though he even went against, so downvote me, they even went against his explanation of how electricity works.
Right.
Which was like not cool because, yeah. So the tires are going to keep them electricity from going into the car.
Right. So not just the tires, but, well, everything. Like they're not sitting in a metal box on the ground.
Right.
Like there is so much insulation between them, and the safest thing for them is to stay in the car.
Right. And if it actually worked the way he did, when the transformer did fall and his wife got shocked, he was standing on the hood of the car. So why didn't he get shocked by his own words?
Right. It doesn't make sense. This whole, and I would argue that you can probably remove this scene, and you could have had them just running and maybe a rock fall on John's state or whatever.
Anything, they could have knocked her out by just whatever. She needed to go help somebody. They didn't even need to stop to help anybody. She could have stopped to help, and she telling him, "Go, keep going."
Right.
That would have been fine.
Yeah, this was
but they
unnecessary.
wanted to add a little more action. They wanted to make Ben more heroic. I get it.
Yeah, it was just like showcasing his engineering skills or his intelligence. I get, but he should be smart enough to know that the tires, the carpet, the rubber, literally everything between the people in that car and the transformer, they're honestly safer just sitting in the car and not breaking their damn windshield. I'm just being real.
And it was kind of funny when he took that pole and was shoving into the windshield, like right towards the face of the person who was in the thing. And I'm like, that cannot be. That could easily turn out really bad quickly.
It's so unsafe in every way. He is making a situation that is already tedious or potentially unsafe, very unsafe.
Yeah. So in the future, it's the I get it. It was the pilot, so they probably should have cut it.
I mean, you're gonna get downvotes though. Even if we like your show, if you do something, if it's wrong, we're gonna give you a downvote. That's it.
Well, and it took just enough time that because of, remember, they're on network timing now,
right?
So they have to reach 42 minutes or whatever it is.
Oh, right.
So they don't have any other footage to fill the time, then they would have been stuck with this, even if they realized they made a mistake.
All right.
That's the benefit of going to streaming, folks. You can cut it and nobody cares.
If you really want to fill time, you just have a single shot of Martinez eating his dinner the whole time.
Or show how long it really would take Ben to run.
Show the whole time, right?
It's like, dang, it's taking him a long time.
The episode takes 3 episodes for him to get there.
Right.
Yeah, so unsafe. She gets hurt. This was sort of cool. She sort of showed him how to do go ahead.
So does he not know or does he not remember? I didn't quite get that because I feel like this is something he should know. I mean, do they just want to have a scene where Addison? Why would Addison know and not him? I guess
you know how to do that though?
How to get a heart started by hitting it? No, but I'm not. I'm also not.
Yeah, but he's not a doctor either.
Right.
Well, maybe he's a doctor, but he's not that kind of a doctor.
That's a good point, but neither is she.
Right, but she has access to a database.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay. That's a good point. See, it's funny is like Al always made it like he was looking something up. With Addison, it's always like she just knows immediately how to do it. We criticized this, I think, back during episode 2. Mm-hmm. They really got to stop doing that because like right now, I'm thinking Addison's teaching him to do something that she knows how to do instead of her going, let me look it up or hold on a second, so that we realize they're both learning. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So because she's like, follow my hand. So it's like, I don't know. They got to do that better, I think, because I do feel a lot of times it's Addison's knowledge and not what she's getting from the computer.
Yeah, I assume that she had gotten the information from the computer because she also put the diagram up there and all that. So
I guess I didn't make that leap. No pun intended.
Oh, no pun intended. I was with it. All right. So he saves it. She's fine. Now he's got to run all the way to Oakland.
Well, so the great recaps here. He's thinking about his mom. He's agonizing over it. And I got to tell you, I felt it too. Like I put myself in his shoes as a kid. who's brought home all B's. My parents would have kissed my face if I had brought home all B's.
My parents would have been happy if I came home and went to school that day. So,
okay. So, but he's agonizing over this. You can see that's why I said the acting is way great. And somebody did make a comment earlier that maybe these were cut scenes that were added later, since it was middle of the episode, and maybe he didn't do this in the original pilot. And if that's the case, then his acting would have grown. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. So upvote for me here.
Upvote, man. Upvote. Okay. And he's running.
What would you think about that scene there where she stops him from running?
And she's like, take a beat. You're in a body of a middle-aged fat man.
And then she gets upset at him because he won't tell her what's going on with him.
Yeah, I don't know how I felt about that. I sort of glossed over it, to be honest. I usually gloss over a lot of like the forced emotional scenes. Like, I don't mind an emotional scene, but I feel like some scenes are like, let's check the box. Like, well, we don't have an emotional scene this episode, so we need to like manufacture one.
Well, he's having an emotional moment. And so they don't need to create this. They basically create a problem between Addison and Ben in the middle of this crisis.
Right.
It felt like it would have been more appropriate towards the end, like say after he saved the kid.
Right. It was not important right now, but I think they were trying to get him to calm. Maybe they were trying to get him to stop for a minute or something. I don't really know.
I think they were trying to like fit this in, and they didn't want to like bring down the cool hero ending.
Maybe like it's not worth a downvote or an upvote. It's more like it didn't bother me enough to care, but like I didn't care enough to also even pay attention, to be honest.
It did slow me for a second, but I don't know if it's worthy of I'm gonna give it a downvote.
Okay. All right, fair enough. All right, and that's when he discovers his mom is okay. Let's get there's a moment where his mom dies of an aneurysm, and he's expressing that whole story to Addison. I'm not even sure what the comparison is here. Like, why is he remembering his mom again?
Because he's in a situation where he's saving a kid who doesn't have his parents, and it's reminding him of his mom.
No pun intended. That feels like a leap to me.
Well, I mean, it would be appropriate he's seeing how the mom's reacting to the son. I mean, you got to have little things where he remembers his life. And I mean, think about it. If he had a fight with his mom, and his mom, last thing he hears out the door is no, please don't go. Right. He remembers that. And then she dies of an aneurysm from probably being stressed out. You just killed your mom, bro. So that's a big deal.
I don't see that clear connection between what he's going through now and that memory. I understand that memory is traumatic, but I don't really see. I think
it started with the kid thinking the kid's traumatized, right? And the whole family dynamic thing, I think, set him off, because this is the first time he's had a kid in any of his leaps.
That's fair.
So I think maybe that's what shook it up.
Okay. Real quick, we are back at Project Quantum Leap headquarters.
Leaper X.
I want to point something out. Do you see that device in the center of the table, conference room?
That is an intercom device, yes.
Yes, and it is how old, Shane?
Yeah, I remember it from the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yes. That is a real device.
It is.
You could have purchased in 2001 at Staples.
We used it in the military.
Yes, we use it in the military too. And you can
Are you sure they don't look like that still?
No, I've seen them since, and they are way different. And I remember actually owning a model so similar to that cost me like $120 for my first business. I was so stoked. I never even used it once to its capabilities. And I'm telling you, I don't know that they look futuristic, but that's not really what they look like anymore. It's not. Now they look like those Facebook Echoes or whatever they're called, like they have like video and everything attached to them now.
Well, actually, I'm looking here online right now, and at butterflymx.com, that is that exact device.
Really?
Yep. Butterfly X. Let me see if I can send it to you.
They haven't changed at all in 30
Check this out.
years?
I'm going to send it to you so you can send it so you can show everybody.
Oh, okay.
Check it out. See if it shows up there.
And is that current, Shane?
It says you can buy it right now on butterflymx.com.
What? Is it current, though?
I mean, I'll click on the link.
I owned that in 20 years ago.
It says best office intercom system, choosing one for your business.
Wow. So I guess they haven't changed in 20 years.
I guess not.
That's wild. Okay.
Hey, sorry if we were saying anything bad.
Yeah, listen, I guess you made such a good product that you have not had to change it in 20 years. That's amazing.
That is the definition of a good product.
It's a definition of a good product. Or a smart business. You know, like, I don't see the point. We made something look like it was from the future. Let's just leave it here until we get to that future.
Nice. This was back when Sam was here.
That's funny because I own that phone. Or a phone very, very, very similar. Interesting. Okay. I thought you totally rained on my parade because I thought I found like this cool thing that like only I would know. And you're like, no. Everything you're saying right now is complete bullcrap.
You're thanking me though for finding that.
Yes,
right now,
I am.
So that the people in the chat do not.
Yeah. What?
Our member section would have fixed that in about 3 minutes.
Right. Yeah. And now that you've sent me that link, I will be purchasing one of those phones just for fun.
You're welcome, Butterfly.
Yeah. It'll be on the wall behind me. It'll look like a weird, modern-looking flux capacitor.
Nice.
All right. So they're talking about
what they're talking about here.
They're going to put Martinez under surveillance.
That's right. She wanted a black
side him.
Black side him. And Magic's like, whoa, hold on, slow your roll.
Wait a minute.
It's like, well, we've done it for less.
We've done it for a lot less. I mean, she's got a point.
It's like lock him up for forever, you know?
I mean, like, I am totally against government overreach, but like, we're talking about the Quantum Leap project. Like, it's a pretty big thing. Like, it has that has timeline implications. Like,
but they don't really know what it means. They don't know if he's doing something wrong. They don't know if maybe it's something they do in the future.
So black side him until you figure it out.
I guess so. But then you might ruin the chance of him actually fulfilling what he needs to do in the future. He may be like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. You just lock me in a prison cell.
Yes. And we're about to get to my first hard downvote. And this is right here.
Oh, here it is right here.
Are you worried that we just set the whole thing off? God damn it, Ian. Really, you had to say it, bro. I hate the butterfly bootstrap paradox. I hate that so much.
But it's not really.
Okay, let's consider this for a minute, right, Shane?
Sure.
Okay. Walk with me down this path, this story that I'm going to tell you.
I mean, I know what you're going to say, but I think you're probably
Quantum Leap project.
Yes.
Ben leaps, and they have to figure out why. And they find this guy who's leaping with him, but he's from the future. So they go talk to him. But that's actually what gets him to investigate or to seek further information to then join the Quantum Leap project in the future, to then go back in time so that he interacts with Ben. So when they see him, they go talk to him, where that tells him to go look at the blah, 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 blah. Looper time. Everyone's looping on. It's a loop. It's a bootstrap paradox. That's what it is. And you can do it right. But I'll tell you this, out of 387 bootstrap paradox movies and TV shows that I have seen, maybe 3 of them get it right. 3.
That's a good point. But I think in this situation, like, and you've probably read my theory that we're getting ready to produce for our video.
I read that, just the part you sent me last night.
So, you know, if indeed Richard Martinez ends up leaping, let's say, into this present time, that's how Ben figures it out, then I think the bootstrap paradox works.
Okay.
Right?
So I'll stop and I'm gonna take my downvote away. But
if it doesn't,
I have the right. I have the right to remove that downvote, that upvote.
Yes. Next episode.
No. If our video comes out and you don't convince me.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
If you don't convince me, then I will retroactively give the next episode a pre-downvote.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Quantum Leap episode 7, if I do that to you. Yes.
Yeah, we'll find out tomorrow or so, or when I actually edit the stupid thing. if you have sold me on that.
Okay.
All right. Because I hate bootstrap paradoxes. I hate them.
I know.
Or predestination or whatever. I don't even know anymore. Even the paradoxes are paradoxes.
I still love Terminator. I
know, but that's a loop. That's a loop too. In fact,
it's got a problem.
It's got major problems.
If your father gives birth to you because you sent somebody back in time, I think that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a grandfather paradox. Yeah. Like literally, I think.
like literally. All
right. So anyways, back in Frisco, he's running. He's got to get to Jason. Be so tired. Okay, so he makes it. He makes it.
Jason's safe.
Jason's safe outside the building. All right. So I'm not gonna give this a downvote, but
come on! I'm like so close.
I know I'm so close to a downvote too. You want to explain?
Well, I mean, is he the only one that can go in the building and save this guy?
I know, right?
Is he the only one? And does he have to go alone?
He's fulfilled his mission. They should. You know what they should have done? They should have him running into the building and leaping.
Well, I mean, they could have, but that would have left me feeling really weird.
I know, but like he's fulfilled his mission. His goal was to save his kid, right?
Then we wouldn't know what happened. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that would have been weird to have him. What they should have done is when she said there's only a 30% chance that you'll come out alive. I mean, actually, here's what they should have done. They should have not had him save anybody at all. Like, that shouldn't even been a part of the story. It just wasn't necessary. The kid wasn't going to love him more or support him more, or their relationship was going to somehow be better. He got there. The kid is safe, right? Or let the kid be in somewhat of danger when he gets there and let him rescue the kid, which makes sense. But rescuing like a neighbor that's inside with a 30% chance that you're not going to make it out, I'm sorry, but, that just seems a little bit thin to me.
Right.
Like, I agree. Action for the sake of action, it just wasn't necessary.
I agree.
Then the kid comes in and...
Although, one quick thing, I did like it when he was knocking and the guy wasn't answering, and she was like, "Oh, let me look." That was
that was an Al moment, which was great.
Yeah, I'm gonna upvote that one thing.
Yeah, I'll upvote that, but I'm downvoting the fact that he had to go in at all.
And I'm downvoting this, so really it's just a 0. Like,
yeah,
you're lucky you gave us an Al moment. That's what saved this from getting it. It saved your downvote basically.
Yeah, and by the way, Ben, don't try to talk the guy into leaving his house. Just pick him up and carry him out.
Yeah, just take him out. I mean, he's not. I mean, I get it though. He's a thought guy. He's a thinker, right? He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
He's not an action guy. He's a nerd.
Well, he's becoming an action guy.
No, he is though. Yes. And he gets knocked out, of course, conveniently by a beam, and she can't. I actually liked this a little bit. She couldn't interact with him, so it's stressing her out.
That's good.
And then, of course, the kid doesn't listen to the dad, and he just comes in. And thankfully, he didn't listen. So now the kid has to save the dad, and he wakes him up, and they push together, and they get it off, and they get out. Blah, blah, blah.
Doesn't forward the story at all, but
I mean, maybe the kid needed it. Because it looks like though. So we thought the kid was mad at the dad, but it's actually the kid is pretty pissed off at his mom.
Oh no, we knew he was mad at his mom.
Oh, I didn't know exactly who he was.
She said it earlier.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I missed that part because it was hard. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to pay attention.
Yeah.
All right. So he gets mad, and then they go to the hospital and they see the mom, and good stuff. Now back to his own life. So he is once again seeing himself in that moment, and this is the part that actually is going to get an upvote from me, even though I don't care about a lot of the sappy stuff. He's like, hey, it's 1989. I can call my mom.
Right.
That's cool. That's cool that he's realizing that, he can do something personal. He gets Addison to give him the phone number because he doesn't remember. And when he calls her, and then he jumps.
Yeah, he hears her voice, or he says mom, and he hears her, And that was enough, I think. Still, when you feel like you killed your mom, which, and in this case, he may very well have, is, hey, that's going to rest with you forever. No amount of hearing her voice or whatever. That's, yeah.
Yeah. And that's the episode, right? Am I saying right?
I think we get a little more.
Is there more? Oh, yeah. That's right. We got back to. Oh, and this is okay. All right.
This changes everything.
Shane, please go forth and make your words known to everyone listening, because this is I cannot do this scene without losing my mind. So it's your turn.
Yeah. Well, we thought we had everything figured out. And going into the past, you know, Ben leaping into the past to find Sam or whatever we thought it was happening, made a lot of sense, you know, and it was all working out. But then suddenly Ian's like, oh, whoa, hold on a second here. It got me thinking about everything that happened. And I think I did my math wrong. So actually, he's leaping into the future. It's awesome. You don't even have your microphone muted.
Sorry.
But
I wanted
you know,
to say some things that I couldn't say and keep this from
got it.
Yeah,
But I mean,
PG.
now it seemed crazy at first, but as we will come to find out, and you'll need to watch our video coming out on the Prime channel in the next couple days, there's actually some canonical reason why he might be going to the future.
Another thing you're gonna have to convince me of, because I'm gonna give this a retroactive downvote. Now I'm going to
so I might get an upvote for next week if it turns out good.
Right. So I'm going to remove this downvote for now. Okay. But if the theory convinces me, I will convert that downvote into an upvote.
I don't think it'll convince you that that it makes sense, but I can at least convince you that it happened.
Okay. Then if that's the case, then it would just be, I would just remove the downvote. But potentially the next episode can potentially get 2 pre-downvotes.
That's true. I'm worried about you, episode 7.
Yeah. A lot riding on you.
And it's a Halloween episode, so.
Oh, God. Oh,
no,
that's right.
Tradition. That's tradition for Quantum Leap.
Yeah, that's right. That's in the preview, he's like he's a priest, and they're gonna do an exorcism. Yeah,
that's right.
All I could think about was that one scene from This Is the End. The power of Christ compels you. Does it, Jay? Does it compel me? The power of Christ compels you. Guess what, Jay? It's not that compelling.
Yeah, that's right.
The greatest. That movie is so underrated because, like, it's so ridiculous and it has like 400 A-list actors in it, and no one knows. You have Channing Tatum in a gimp costume. How did you pull this off, you guys? Only ridiculous comedians at the top of their clout game could have gotten Channing Tatum to wear a gay gimp costume. Hilarious.
It was great.
All right, so back to this. That's it. That's it. We're done.
Well, we'd see. Again, we get to see where he leaps, but yeah.
Right, he leaps to he's a priest. Well, I guess I can just go that far.
For our overseas audiences that don't get to watch this, we should. What were they talking about there again?
Oh, they were talking about watching Real Housewives of New Jersey.
To come over, because that's like the thing that they do together now. Yeah.
Yeah. This is
now that Ben's gone.
Like, quite honestly, I think
it's the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, by the way.
Whatever it is, Real Housewives of some town. This completely unnecessary. I'm not going to give it a downvote, but like sometimes you can tell when network television is trying to fill a little bit. It feels like that.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of relationship between Jenn and Addison up to this point. So this is an opportunity. You've seen it between Magic and Addison. You've seen it between Ian and Addison. You don't really see a lot. So maybe they're trying to shore up this relationship a little bit.
That's fair. And then you see where he leaps, and he's looking fly.
Great, right out of The Exorcist, bro.
All right. And another Stargate alum actress.
Yep.
So this was actually the third one now, right? There's been 3 now Stargate actors, which I find interesting.
Who was the first one?
I gotta go back and look. I remember mentioning it before too.
Okay.
And I don't remember. I'm bad at names. Aside from Jewel State, I don't remember these actors' names really.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's there to perform an exorcism, and that's gonna be fun.
I love the little scene above the door here. Can you play that for us?
Oh yes, here we go. There we go. And this is classic, but this is classic.
Nice.
Do you remember that movie with Tom Hanks? The Burbs.
I saw it once. I didn't really like it very much. But
Okay, first off, cuss you for not liking it.
I just didn't like it.
Cuss you hard because that movie is genuinely that is premium kino. That is cinematic, a masterpiece. And let me tell you what. The very first thing you see when he goes up to that door for the first time is that number flip from a 9 to a 6.
Yeah,
Very
that's
clever.
Cool.
Classic stuff.
Lots of fun. This is going to be fun next week.
Yeah, it will be fun. It will be fun unless all your theories are wrong and I give it pre-downvotes.
Oh, I mean, it's still going to be fun to watch it, I think.
I suppose so.
If they don't even. But listen, if you would like to, come along with us with the hilarity of what you've just experienced here in a live forum, please consider becoming a member of the channel and join everybody else as we do these things generally live on Monday mornings after the show is aired. No, Tuesday mornings, right?
Yes, and if you're watching this on our Unleashed channel, the join button is actually not on the page. It's actually going to be in the description of this video because we have two channels.
Yeah, I think also maybe in the comment link below. So, but like this, please, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And come back and check us out next time. We appreciate you guys.
Just to be clear, a 3.5 was the final score. All right. See you later, nerds.